Just talk about that.
I love it. We just told everyone we got to wear masks, and then we're not wearing masks. This is great.
We're under the one little exemption for theatrical performance, so expect
That's right.
an incredibly theatrical performance. My name is Moises. I'm in all the way from Texas, and not just because my girlfriend lives here, but because this is one of the greatest cities in the world. This is one of the best conventions that I have ever been to, and I've been to a lot of them. James, you have been to a lot of these conventions.
A whole lot.
A whole lot.
Yeah, and I love Toronto. Hey, can I ask you a favor?
Absolutely.
And can I ask you guys a favor? I'd like to take a little video of anyone that's cosplaying from any show that I was on, and then I string them together and put them on social media after the con. But I'd like them to have a big round of applause. Can you guys applaud a lot, and I'll film you? Yeah? Sweet.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Do it. Like the Jays just took the series. Like the Leafs won tonight. So let me warm you up with a question. We've got a roving microphone that'll be going out there to capture your audience questions. This is, I think, the fifth convention that we've both done since we've come back this year. What has it been like getting back out there and seeing the fans again after that much time away from getting this kind of love from people?
Like breathing again. You know, that's what I miss most of all. I'm a gamer, so in the beginning of lockdown, I was like, oh, I have to stay home? What shall I do with myself, you know? And that was good for 4 months. And then I started to get a little cabin fever. And then I started hanging out with my friends on Zoom, and that was okay. But I missed community, man. I missed hanging out with cool people in 3 dimensions. And I guess this is, my fifth convention since we've come back, and I absolutely love it. I love conventions. Everyone's beautiful, everyone's safe, and you can be whatever you want to be. It's heaven. Yeah.
One of, I think, a lot of our favorite episodes from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Once More with Feeling, not only did people love it and gravitate toward it immediately, but then people started shadow casting it the way that people did Rocky Horror Picture Show for so many years now. Have you actually witnessed this in person, seeing people do this?
One time. I think it was in Austin, Texas.
Tampa.
Was it Tampa?
It was Tampa.
Okay, right on. Yeah, one time. It was awesome.
Oops, leading question. Sorry, I knew the
Yeah, I
answer.
know. But some of my earliest memories, the beginnings of Spike in me was Rocky Horror Picture Show. I lived in a very conservative town, but every Saturday night we would put on punk rock, lipstick, glam makeup, dresses and stuff, and just walk downtown to Rocky Horror Picture Show, freak out the cowboys. You know, it was awesome. So yeah, it comes full circle.
I've got one more for you because this is all about the fans, and I want to make sure that we get as many fan questions as humanly possible. So if you have a question, go ahead and raise your hand. My friend here in the yellow shirt, I mean, if you bribe him just enough, you might jump up the order just like at karaoke. One of my favorite recent, a few years ago now, productions that you were a part of is Marvel's Runaways, where you played Vic Stein, and it was really wonderful getting to see you chew on a role that had so much complexity to it. It's not just a father figure, it's a father figure with some issues of his own, you know? What did you have much familiarity with the character, with the material before it came to you? What excited you about it the most once you did get the part?
I like to play villains that are supposed to be hated and then try to get the audience to be like, oh, actually he's a human being. Oh, maybe he's not just a villain. Victor on Runaways, that character was supposed to die in 7 episodes. For those of you who don't know, Marvel's Runaways is about a group of teenagers that figure out that their parents are supervillains, basically. And of all of the horrible parents in the show, Victor was twice as horrible. He was just absolutely irredeemable. And I just thought it was a good challenge to try to take a character that was supposed to be hated and then make people kind of feel for him a little bit. In fact, my favorite thing was to do like interviews with journalists, and I would sit down and be like, okay, first of all, Victor is the biggest hero in this whole show. And they'd be like, you're killing a teenager every year. That's not really a hero. And I said, well, let's talk about that. So I'm playing a character who has been trying to save humanity by inventing fusion power and perfecting that and basically saving us from global warming, coming up with a new energy supply. And I come into my middle age and I've failed and I haven't gotten it done. And then I meet an alien who says, well, I have that technology. I'll give it to you for free, but you have to keep me alive. And I need to eat, but I eat people. So I need at least one a year. And I asked the journalist, like, if someone gave you that choice right now, would you say, let all humanity die so you can go to your grave with a clean conscience? Or would you let yourself be the villain and let us all live? What's the hero do? And they're like, well, that's really interesting, James. And then they'd be like, wait a minute, you're beating your son. And I'm like, well, let's talk about that. I said, my son has 177 IQ, and he's getting C's in high school. Now, at what point, as a parent, do you stop saying, good job, son, and when do you put the hammer down? Now, maybe I'm going too far, but maybe that's not as bad as going not far enough, don't you think? And they're like, wow, I never thought of it that way, James. And then I'd be like, I'm kidding. I'm a villain. He's horrible. Yeah, I loved it. It was a great show. Yeah.
Well, let's get some questions from the audience out here. Who's got something? Who's got something? Somebody right over here. Go for it.
Thanks for helping to make Buffy one of my favorite shows ever. It was like a great series to watch. My question is, out of all the seasons, who's your favorite big bad? Mine personally is Glory.
Glory was pretty good. Wow. Spike? No.
A truly villainous answer.
Well, like, I don't know, like the dude that was like, the guy that I got my soul from, he was a freak. The guy that was like dunking me in the cave, that one freaked me out. I don't know why, but like personally, that was when I came to set and I saw that makeup and that character. I was like, oh my God, you know. But I think Gloria is probably a really good choice. She had a lot of fun playing that role, and I think it showed, you know. And I think that's kind of the secret of acting is have fun, you know. Like it's called a play for a reason. People don't pay to watch actors work, you know. Yeah, Glory's good.
More hands, more questions. Anybody? Going right back there.
I'm making my way.
Okay. Oh, do I have to do it with my mask? Or? Okay.
Oh, we'll be able to hear you. The
Oh, I
microphone will
hold
do
it?
most of the work for you. Don't
Can I
worry
hold
about
it
it.
or no? Okay. Hi. My question is, if you could go back to any Buffy episode what you filmed to do again, which one would you do?
Great question. Fool for Love. Fool for Love. I got to fight all the past Slayers in that, and my favorite day on the set was always stunt day. I came from the stage where you don't get a stunt man, so when they offered me one at first, I was like, what are you talking about? I'll do that, you know? And working with stunt people are like triple black belts. So they're like the deadliest people you'll ever meet in your life. And so they don't live in fear. They don't have any of that. So they're consequently very peaceful, very humble, and very happy. And so whenever you're doing a stunt day, you're just in a very supportive atmosphere where someone might get hurt really badly, but we don't, you know. And I also got to fight Bruce Lee's, I think it's his second cousin. He's Ming Lee, who played the Chinese Slayer for the Boxer Rebellion. And she is the deadliest human being I've ever met in my life. She is like that tall, and she's lightning fast, and she's specific, and she's controlled, and thank God she's a nice person, because God, After take one, I was just like, holy shit, you know. And I got to do stunts with her again on Runaways, actually. And this was like 2 years ago. And she was doubling a 17-year-old character, and she hadn't lost a step. She was just as fast as she ever was. And I kept going, Ming, I'm older now. I can't go that fast. Please, take it easy on me. Yeah. But I think that would be it.
There's a little follow-up to that. As a man of the stage who doing stage combat, there is no stunt double they can throw in for you when you're playing Laertes or something. What do you think maybe young actors out here would benefit from hearing about the process of getting things right, being safe, rehearsing it like a dance when it comes to doing that sort of thing? It looks like fun to swing swords around, to throw punches and kicks and that sort of thing, but I mean, it really is a lot of work, right?
Yeah, and it's kind of dangerous. What happened? Alec Baldwin, did you hear about this?
Yeah,
Alec Baldwin just like a...
Yeah, a gun misfired.
Yeah, gun misfire, someone died on the set. Like that's the thing, like when most people go to work, you're doing something that you kind of have done before, but in Hollywood, we're doing something that's never been done. Every shot is its own creation, and so safety is a little kind of wonky sometimes, and people really do get hurt. Like when I went up to do Smallville, the lead, the guy that did all the stunts for Tom Welling had just fallen 16 feet onto concrete, and they didn't know if he was ever coming back. It happens all the time. What was the question?
Oh, just
yeah.
You know,
So
advice you would have for
yeah.
young performers. It looks like a lot of fun, but there's a lot of work attached to that.
Yeah, you hit it on the head, though. It's like dance, and the mistake that a lot of young performers do is they try to get emotionally into it. They try to really be tough and you really have to back off all that and just make sure you're safe and get through the moves, and make a snarly face when you can, but don't ever try to be a tough guy, because then someone gets hurt. Because like any idiot can do a stunt and go to the hospital or send somebody to the hospital. The art to it is when you go away and you laugh and you pat each other on the back. So,
Well said.
yeah.
We got a question over here.
Hi, James.
Hi.
Welcome back to Toronto.
Yeah.
So the last couple of years has been interesting for everybody. So I'm wondering, during this time, what is the most surprising thing you learned about yourself?
Wow.
Any particularly good speed runs in Mario Brothers, or you know?
I think I've learned that to be happy, I need to help people. I've really I'm sorry. We got to change this. We got to come down on the lip.
Yeah, I
this
think
is
I
like
agree.
We're so far away from the. Of course, we're going to feed back.
Now
But
that
if
the
we
guys on the
don't,
camera are gonna have to re-pull focus.
You get a close up for free.
We
Does this
good?
work for you guys?
This good?
Yeah.
This good?
Yeah.
Rocking
screw
the
it.
boat too much?
All the way up.
Look at this,
Yeah.
real rebels. That's what we're doing.
Okay. Hi, we're in the same room now.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Yeah, so I was getting lonely in COVID, and I just started this group on Zoom with like 5 friends of mine, and we would get together on Zoom every day, and we would just kind of, hang out. And then it grew to like 30 people, and we would just take 3 minutes and tell the group how we're doing that day. It was just very simple. Because like on Zoom, you can't all talk at once. It gets just like a cacophony of voices. So we just decided to take 3 minutes apiece and tell And the thing that happened was, within that group, there was some guy that had a great day, and there was always someone that was having a really hard day or a really hard week. Maybe their mom was dying, or maybe they were going through a divorce or something like that. And we just started calling each other outside of that meeting and kind of like trying to show up for each other. And we just started to get really involved in each other's lives. And I found myself happier than I'd been in a long time. And I think that that's probably not new information, that in order to be happy, you help people. I think a lot of people know that, but I didn't as much as I do now. And consequently, I'm really not playing as many video games. Because now I'm getting calls from guys who be like, hey man, my heart's breaking, can you talk for a while? But I'm finding that that's a lot more fulfilling than shooting people in the face all day. which is fun. It is fun, but yeah.
More questions.
welcome.
Who we got? Who we got? Who we got? There we go.
Thank you. Oh, hi, James.
Hey, hey.
I just wanted to ask, did you guys pull any fun pranks on the set of Buffy?
Oh, man. No. Okay, like we worked up to 20 hours a day on Buffy. Like usually shows go 12 hours, and after 12 hours you have to pay the crew double. And so they don't, you know. But Buffy had money, and so we never only went 12. 12 was unheard of. It was 14 to 16 was normal, and getting up to 18, 20 hours, it was quite normal as well. And you do that, and you get tired. There's a level of fatigue that I didn't even know existed, and you just stop messing around. You really want to try to get the shots and go get at least 4 hours of sleep before you go back and do it again. And this is back when we were doing 22 episodes a year. Like now TV shows are doing 8. Like on Runaways, the cast was like, man, 8 episodes, I'm getting tired. I'm like, oh my God, no way.
Calm down, kids.
Youngin', back in my day, we walked 30 miles through the snow to do a television episode.
Yeah, so not a lot of messing around. And I was the worst at it. In fact, there's this like, the gag reel. It's probably online now, but they're made initially for the cast party at the end of every episode, and it's meant for us to laugh at ourselves. And I was never in these little movies. I was never. And I finally went to Joss, and I was like, man, I'm never in the gag reel. Like, what is it? You don't like me? What's wrong? I was all offended. Jesus. And he goes, you want to know why? And I said, yeah. He goes, you're boring. And I was like, what? And he goes, every time the director yells cut, you do exactly the same thing. You look down, make sure you're on your mark, you go back to your chair, you get your script out, and you study your lines. That doesn't make for a good gag reel. And he goes, now, when you call action, it's like we released a tiger onto the set, so don't change anything, but you're not a gag reel actor, James. Yeah.
Hi, James.
Where are you, man?
Over here.
Boom.
Charisma Carpenter came forward as having a difficult relationship, to put it mildly, with Joss Whedon. And you are known as one of the most collegial colleagues. Sorry, bad choice of words, but I'm curious if you had to give other actors coming up in the business advice on sort of how to safeguard and make sure that those power relationships aren't negatively impacting either themselves or their colleagues. What advice would you give to them?
I never really talk to producers. I never really get to know them that well, to tell you the truth, because I have my job and they have theirs, and they are dealing with the big picture, and I'm dealing with just myself. And I would probably say just learn your lines, show up to the set on time, and do as best as you can. I'm not talking specifically, like the situation on Buffy is heartbreaking to me. The truth is that I didn't really work with Joss a whole lot. Like, I was a series regular from series 4 through 7, right? And during those years, Joss was away doing Angel, and the showrunner was Marty Noxon. So when I think of Buffy and I think of a showrunner, I think of Marty. Joss was coming in every once in a while to direct an episode, but the thing that I hated was whenever he came in to direct an episode, I was never in it. I had like a half a scene when he came into town. And I was very resentful about that, because Joss always got the really great episodes, the ones that everybody remembered, and I was very rarely used on those times. And then, by the time I got over to Angel, he was off doing Firefly. So again, I remember he even came in to apologize at some time, and he told everybody, look, I'm still involved in the show. You guys don't see me anymore, but I'm breaking story and I'm editing, and I'm still focused on you. You just don't see me around. So that, combined with the fact that I really didn't even talk that much to my fellow actors. I was like a method actor. Like, I'm the dude, in 4th grade I did Winnie the Pooh, but I really wanted to get the pathos. I was doing Eeyore, and I wanted to get the true pathos. Like, I was really serious about acting. So when I got Spike, I was like, I just dove into that character, and Spike is a loner. And so I was alone. And frankly, after years of that, it was very lonely. But I would shoot my scene, and as soon as they released me, I would find a dark corner in the set and hide alone. And no one knew where I was. As soon as they called my name, I could hear them, and I would appear on my mark, and they'd be like, whoa, you scared me, you know? But I really just wanted to sink into that character because I knew that the writing was the best that I was ever going to get. And so I wanted to give it myself fully. So, like, a lot of the stuff that I'm hearing now, I'm just like, what? Oh my God, you know, like, so it's hard for me to really comment too directly about that stuff.
In a
except
general,
that it sounds like it was really hard for some people, and that really kind of breaks my heart. Yeah. What I will say is that I love Me Too. I absolutely, Jesus, it's about time. Like, I mean, I've actually been on that side of it where someone wants to sleep with you, and when you say no, they take revenge out on you. That's happened to me more than once. It's also happened that I'm working with an actor who's really, like, pissed off, and you don't know why, and then come to find out it's because they were getting some pressure from somebody. What I loved about Runaways is that the very first day of every season, you go talk with the lawyer. And the whole company gets talking to by the lawyer, and everyone's told, like, you do not date people on the set, you don't make sexual references, you don't make sexual jokes, you do this, you don't do that, and there's a whole list. And there's a lawyer behind that stuff. And consequently, that was the happiest set I've ever been on in my life. It was like day camp. It was like we're just completely relaxed, none of that stuff's going on, and I'm just like, thank God, it's about time, you know? We're protected now. Someone's, you know, we're not peeing in the pool anymore. We can swim, you know? So I guess, I don't know if that's the answer that you needed, but I guess that's what I got about that.
the thing that I was just about to jump in with was asking, in a general sense, you know, putting yourself in the shoes of a young actor who doesn't know for sure that maybe they're okay to speak up for themselves, to stand up for themselves. What kind of advice would you give that young actor who is uncertain of whether, you know, it's going to be worse for them speaking up than not? What advice or counsel would you give, you know, somebody, you know, if maybe even you were just thinking of the advice you would give yourself in that position?
I don't know, this sounds brutal, but I would say try to take care of it in-house if at all possible. Because once you go public with that information, you are basically endangering the money stream of a corporation, and that gets complicated. So there will be a lot of blowback, but so I guess, you know, if you possibly can, within house, which means, you know, go over, whoever's doing this to you, go over their head. Because basically, if you're an actor, if you're a regular actor, and you quit, that's a big problem for them. So that if you go to someone and say, look, I don't know if I can stay around here because this is happening, they'll try to fix it for you. You know, that behavior is wrong, you know. But I've learned, just don't cost the corporation money if you can help it. They don't like that.
Yeah, an army of lawyers.
Yeah. And it sounds brutal, you know, but I think that there's a way to do it in-house. Not that I have any, you know, it's so hard. Like,
yeah, it's tough.
It depends on the situation, man. Like, I'm not a wise man. I don't know.
Well, I really appreciate your candor on this.
That's how I did it.
You know,
that's how I did it. I just stayed in-house, yeah.
That's something that I think a lot more people are thinking about these days. We've got somebody back here?
Hi, James. I just wanted to ask you, you mentioned in the beginning that you've been playing a lot of video games over quarantine, and I just wanted to ask what some of your favorites are.
Let's see. I think we talked about I'm playing through now Luigi's Mansion 3 on my
It's
Switch.
incredible.
Awesome! Second playthrough. I went back and played all the Far Cries again. I just ate those up because I know all the mechanics and I've played them before. My favorite game of all time is Wolfenstein 2, which is... yeah, right? Because, I mean, Wolfenstein 2 is about a world where the Nazis win World War II, right? And then what happens after that? And the second one, Wolfenstein 2, the Nazis invade America, and half the country, the United States, and half the country down there is just fine with that. And so you get to go down to New Orleans and shoot people with like white hoods on a lot. I play that level a lot.
Sounds like that's a little bit cathartic for you.
Oh yeah. Oh God, yeah. But it's just one of those times that that storytelling can hold a mirror up to society in a really constructive and critical way. That's why I love what we're doing today. That's why I love fantasy and sci-fi, because I think that the writers for fantasy and sci-fi can actually talk more honestly and reflect more honestly to society, because we have like a plausible deniability. Hey man, it's just lightsabers, it's just fangs. We're not talking about you guys. No, heaven forbid. When in fact we really are. Because if you're doing like a cop show or a doctor show, you really don't have that separation, and you can't be that kind of brutally honest about things. So.
Got a question right back here in the middle.
Hi, James. I'm a very big fan of your performances on the Dresden Files series. And I'm curious if you have a favorite out of all of the ones that you've performed, and if you do, why that is.
One of my favorites is Toot Toot. He's like a fairy, but he will stab you right in the eye, man. You don't make him angry. Don't piss him off, man, because he's got a sword. It's a needle, actually, but he's not afraid to use it, okay?
Right here.
Hi. How are you?
I'm super good, man.
That's good. Out of all your Buffy cast members, who do you miss working with the most?
Anthony Head.
Oh, no.
Anthony Head, man. Greatest guy. Great anchor of the show. Best actor on the show by a mile. He pretty much taught me how to act for camera. Like, I came down very proud of it came from the stage. And I'd done 100 plays, and I'd produced a bunch of plays, and I'm very proud about that. And came to find out that all of the toolbox that I had amassed for theater didn't really work for film. And I found it out when I started working with Tony. I did a scene with him, and when we were shooting, I was like, "Old man, would you wake up? I'm gonna mop the floor with you today." And then I saw the scene, and he was so much more real than I was. And he was so much more interesting and more compelling. And he was basically, on the day, he was just kind of mumbling. And I didn't even want to watch Spike, but I didn't want the camera to cut over to me. I just kept wanting to watch Giles. And so I just started to watch him and what he did, and more importantly, what he didn't do. And I would show up to set even when I wasn't working, and I would just sit on a little box and watch him film and try to figure out this new thing for film acting, and I had to admit that I had to go back to zero and learn it all over again. And I'm so thankful that there was such a good film actor on Buffy that I could learn from. And he's also just the nicest guy in the world. Yeah, I miss him a lot.
There's a little follow-up to that. How different is he as just a regular person than everybody out here who knows him as Giles, or from Repo, or from Ted Lasso recently? How would you describe him as a person? What is he like as just a regular guy?
He is more confident, but not blustery confident, like a happy, friendly confidence, you know. He doesn't have to be the center of attention. It's not that kind of thing. It's not like a big ego confidence. He's just a very well-grounded, happy, good man. Because, you know, Giles is always like confused, or he's in self-doubt, or he's like stuttering or something like that. Tony's not like that at all. He's just smooth.
Smooth like butter.
Yeah.
Another question right here.
Hi, I was just wondering what your favorite song on the Once More with Feeling soundtrack is.
I mean, I think we know the answer.
I can't say it because that would be egotistical. Oh, man. No, probably Walk Through the Fire. You know, because I think that encapsulates the theme of the show. I think the theme of Buffy in 3 words really is don't give up. You know, life hurts sometimes. It's challenging, but it's worth it. So get up in the morning and try again, basically. And I think that song really kind of that's the song that hits that one on the head. Yeah. What's yours? Shout it out.
Shout it out.
Okay, we agree.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, yes. You have very good taste in music. Can I say that?
Yeah, I think that's the best tie that we could have hoped for. Next question, right back there.
So if Kevin Feige were to come to you, would you accept his offer to go in a Marvel movie?
Yeah. It's so funny, like, you hear stories about different directors kind of chafing when they work with him because he knows what he wants and he's got a plan. And I'm just like, hey guys, watch the Marvel movies. I think Kevin knows what he's doing, you know? Like, just do what that guy wants to do. It's going to be okay. Yeah, in a heartbeat. Oh my God, yeah. Oh my God.
Right over there.
Hi, do you have any advice for actors looking to like pursue a career?
Yeah. Every human being is beautiful enough and interesting enough to be stared at. Every single one of us. And the irony, certainly with me, but a lot of other actors, is we cover up the most interesting and beautiful sides of ourselves by trying to look interesting and beautiful or cool. We try to give the audience what we think they want, as opposed to just allowing them to stare at us. It's rude to stare. If you do it in real life, you'll get into an argument. But we actors, we allow that. We say, it's okay, you can stare at me, it's okay. And I have to remind myself, every time I hear the word action or every time the curtain goes up, that I'm good enough as I am. That the audience isn't wanting something bigger than they are or cooler than they are. They just want the right to stare at someone. And I'm giving a big gift by allowing people to stare, because frankly, it's scary. When a lot of people are staring at you, you're like, oh my God, you know? But the best thing I can do when I give that gift is to be honest and let them see all of the weird me, the gristly, weird part of, you know, every human being is a little weird, let's be honest. And the worst thing I can do is lie, which I find myself doing too often, trying to look cool. Yeah, so I would just say, let your freak flag fly. It's beautiful.
Right here.
Hi, I was just wondering if you have any memorable things you signed on the autograph tables.
I used to do body parts, but I don't do that anymore. I'm boring. No, it's mostly old pictures of my face.
Have you ever been particularly wowed by maybe some fan art or something that someone has made and brought to you to have signed?
Yeah, I'm stunned by some of the art that I see. And occasionally, someone will bring a figurine, and I'll be like, oh my God, I don't have that one. Where do you get it? You know, they're selling them over there, and then I got to go, you know, take lunch and go buy it. You know? It's like when people ask me, like, what's the weirdest fan experience you've ever had? I'm like, I don't have anything. Like, Buffy fans are, they're smart, we're funny, we don't take ourselves too seriously, and we're kind. I just have a lot of interesting conversations, I'll be honest, you know? So I don't have those wild stories because everyone's really cool.
Right over here.
Hi. So Spike had a lot of character development on the show. Like, he kind of went from being the big bad to one of the most lovable characters. So this is kind of a question within a question, but what was it like for you with all that character development? And did you prefer filming when he was the big bad or when he was kind of the more lovable, fun character?
Okay, yeah, great question. I preferred it when he was big bad. It was just, it felt safer. You know, when he was going through the rest of it, I felt very vulnerable and exposed, you know, and I had to share things about myself that it was hard to be that open about, you know. Like normally a character arc is a smooth arc, beginning, middle, and end, you know, and it's pre-planned out. But Spike's journey is kind of like that, you know. And the reason I think for that is that evil is not cool. And one of the things I like about Buffy is it's not normally portrayed as cool. Evil is laughable, it's stupid, it's goofy, it's awkward, like in real life. And they had one, like vampires are just supposed to be metaphors for the challenges that you overcome in your adolescence or in your life. So they're supposed to be killed off. We're not supposed to feel for them. That's why we're really ugly when we bite someone, so that's not like a romantic thing at all. So we're designed to be overcome. And they decided to do one kind of Anne Rice vampire character where you kind of feel for the character. That was Angel. And Angel took off like a shot. And the writers were like, okay, that's it. We can't afford to do any more of those characters, or we're going to lose the theme of the show. And then Spike came along, and he wasn't designed to be thought of that way, but the audience reacted that way anyway. And I have to say, if I'd have been producing Buffy, I'd have killed Spike off in 3 episodes. I'd be like, serious? No, I would have.
I'm glad you were not producing Buffy.
Yeah, I would.
Thank you.
I'm a maniac. When I produce, I'm a maniac. I was like, fire him, you know? But they were braver and more creative than I would have been. And so the thing is like, the original plan was that I would be around for like 5 to 10 episodes, and then when Angel went evil after he and Buffy got together, he was supposed to take up with Drusilla and kill me so that he would be the big bad and he would break Buffy's heart. Well, that's the whole point of this season, right? And so they built me up as this big bad, and then they didn't kill me off, you know, which was awesome, but then you're left with this character that's an ill fit for the show. It doesn't really fit with the theme at all. So they had to figure out how to kind of make him make sense within the world and the theme of Buffy. And that's why I think it's such an interesting ride. Yeah.
They told me we've got about 5 minutes left. I think we can blast through
I talk
as many.
so damn much.
No,
I'm
is
sorry.
everybody enjoying themselves? Yeah, you're talking just enough, man. Right over here.
I have a comment and a question. So Jesse from Rockland says you have a nice ass. My question is, who was the biggest prankster on set?
Nobody. Okay, but just to give you a good answer, the best prank I ever got was on Supernatural. And
that was a very pranky set by reputation.
It was. Jared and Jensen, the 2 leads of Supernatural, are awesome human beings. They are immune to fame, which is toxic to your soul. And they are humble and hardworking and wonderful people. And I was told, if they like you, they may prank you. And I was like, okay. And we were getting along really well. And I think we only had 1 scene that we were filming. How many kids are in the audience today? Probably a few. I'm going to be careful anyway. So we can talk about things. We just use the right words. So I'm doing my close-up. And Jared and Jensen are across from me. And as is normal in a Hollywood set, the director is in another room watching a monitor. So all the director can see is me from here to here. That's all he's seeing. So we're doing my close-up, and I feel like a little bobbling kind of above my thighs, so to speak, if you know what I mean. And I glanced down. I don't know if it was Jared or Jensen, but one of them's got his was Jared? Okay. He's got
Apparently she was there.
He's got his foot out of his shoe. He's standing on one foot, perfectly still, by the way, because they're filming over his shoulder, which I can't imagine how to do that. But he had his foot, and he was just going, like, what you gonna do now, big actor boy? And I just finished the take, and the director from the other room just goes, cut, print, move on. And they just went, dude! And that's the shot that's in the show. And I don't think it shows that that's happening at all, but yeah, that was a great prank.
They tell me we've got to wrap things up. I've got 2 little bits of housekeeping. Up here on the stage, here in just a few, we got William Shatner? William Shatner is going to be in the house. So stick around for that. At 8, you've got something of a VIP performance, a wonderful acoustic set. How many of you are coming to that? Bunch of you? Good. Yeah. Excellent. That's over in room 701 in the South Building, just to make sure that you know. You got a little bit of a walk, so make sure that you get over there. I want to wrap things up by asking you something that I may have asked you before, but going back, if you can, in your memory, to some of the earliest conventions that you did, your first brush with this amazing world of love and affection and compassion, what was the thing that struck you the most about coming out and doing these shows that is the reason that it is this whole unique thing? What was the thing that you felt the most that is why you keep coming back and doing these conventions?
Well, I've been coming to conventions since I was 13 dressed as Spock. So, like, I love conventions. I feel like all the cool people come to, like all the best people in Toronto are here right now, you know? Or maybe it's just people that I get along with really easily. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But absolutely honestly, when I first started coming out for Buffy, I was really uncomfortable because I just didn't understand why people were that interested in me. It just seemed like a disconnect, in all honesty. So I was just like, I was kind of like, why are you so interested in me? Like, oh my God, you know? And so you guys seemed weird to me, even though I'm a fanboy. Like when I first met Leonard Nimoy, I couldn't talk. I was like, you're Spock, could you please sign this for me, you know? And it took me a while to just accept the fact that I was on a show, which I didn't make, but I was in, that people found useful. And it's as simple as that. People watch the show, they really like it because it's a really good show, which I didn't make, I was in. But I'm the face, my face was on screen, so they want to talk to me about it. And we can celebrate what it meant to me to make it and what it meant for them to watch it. And now I just feel like I'm talking to all the cool people and we're having fun. You know, but it took a few years for me to just kind of put that together. Yeah.
So you're still here tomorrow and Sunday, right?
Yeah.
So if you didn't get to ask your question here this evening, he will be back tomorrow and Sunday over at his table. This is not something that I say to everybody. One of the things that I love about having you at these shows is the candor that you have with people and how honest, and nothing is off limits with this guy. And the way that you look out for the generations coming up behind you in giving the kind of advice that they need to hear from somebody that they care about and trust as much as they care for you. Can we hear it one more time for James Marsters, everybody?
Thank you. I love you guys.